and gentlemen, our top lead this evening, over 6 months after he was arrested in the alleged Delhi liquor scam, Arvind Kejriwal has finally walked out of Tihar a free man. In fact, as we speak, pictures coming of a massive roadshow as Mr. Kejriwal makes his way from Tihar Jail, and there are those pictures that he's making his way from Tihar Jail to his residence. In his first comments after he walked out, the Delhi Chief Minister has said that if the BJP thought that putting him in Tihar would break him, that hasn't happened. In fact, he's saying that he's 100 times stronger in his comeback. Listen in to what Mr. Kejriwal said.
मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, मैं जेल से बाहर आया हूं, मेरे हौसले 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गए हैं। मेरी ताकत 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गई है। इनकी जेल की मोटी मोटी दीवारें, इनकी जेल की सलाखें केजरीवाल के हौसले को कमजोर नहीं कर सकती। मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूं, जैसे आज तक ऊपर वाले ने मेरे को रास्ता दिखाया, ऊपर वाले ने मेरे को ताकत दी, ऐसे ही भगवान मुझे रास्ता दिखाता रहे, मैं देश की सेवा करता रहूं, और ये जितनी राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें हैं जो देश के विकास को रोक रही हैं, जो देश को बांटने का काम कर रही हैं, जो देश को अंदर से कमजोर करने का काम कर रही हैं, जिंदगी भर में इनके खिलाफ लड़ा हूं, आगे भी ऐसे ही लड़ता रहूंगा। भारत माता की।
Let me welcome Abhishek Manu Singhvi to the show this evening. Mr. Singhvi, thank you very much. You are the man who's got Mr. Kejriwal bail, and God knows it has not been easy. Can I start by asking you to clear some confusion over what exactly are the bail conditions as far as Mr. Kejriwal is concerned? He can't go to the secretariat, he can't sign any files, which means Mr. Kejriwal is free, but Delhi's chief minister is still behind bars or still caged. Is that a fair assessment, sir?
Thank you, Shreya. Well, it's good. A much-deserved bail has been granted, even though belatedly and even though after a attempted frustrating arrest in end June by CBI. But that's a different story. Let me come to your specific question. People forget that this is not a new condition imposed. It is, the order says that exactly the same conditions imposed on the 12th of July, earlier Supreme Court order, which I had the privilege of arguing for in the ED case, those conditions shall apply. That's point one. So this is not a new set of conditions. Second, people also forget, and this is the misinformation going around in some channels also, calling him, bound Kejriwal, even though CM, but bound CM, etc. Well, people forget that he's a minister without a portfolio. He has never had a portfolio. So he doesn't sign any files at all except one category. That category is those files which have to be signed under the system we have in the dual rule of Delhi, which have to be signed, which go from him to the LG. That's a limited or a specified category of files. Now, for that signing, this order of 12th July, not today's, allows him to sign. And so does today's order, which copies that order. So, by saying that you can't sign files, the court is not really excluding him in any manner in terms of the fact that he is not required to sign any file for a portfolio which he doesn't hold. But yes, to the extent his signatures are required to send it to the LG, he is allowed to do so. It's point number two. Point number three is that independently, I don't agree, and one learned judge has expressed the same reservations in today's order. I don't agree with the indefinite continuance of these conditions. They are born out of a certain temporariness, a certain intention that while some active investigation is going on, the person should not, be dealing with those issues. Well, I think the stage is now far past anything of that sort, because you've had in various, all the matters I've done, the Kejriwal matter, the Sisodia matter, so many others, all of them have 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th supplementary charge sheets. And all documents are done. So time must come when even this limitation will go, must go, one learned judge out of two judges has expressed great reservation, rightly so, because remember, in a democracy, the only way I can remove you as an elected person is through the electoral process or through use of articles like 356. If the people want you again and again, you cannot fetter or remove me, except that you can punish me for some criminal act. But suppose in that criminal act you get bail, you cannot separately punish me on that bail condition. And now there are judgments otherwise also which say that a bail condition which is so onerous as to take away from the right hand what is given by the left hand will not be allowed. Justice Oak's judgment has come on that. But that apart, this is not that kind of a condition. It is a continuance of an earlier condition. It will go in due course as time goes on. And today, he is not in any manner fettered from signing any file which requires him to sign it to go to the LG. So governance cannot be in any manner impeded.
Okay, so you're saying despite these bail conditions that have been said, governance is not going to be impeded because wherever the signatures of Arvind Kejriwal are critical, the court has not stopped him. And those signatures become critical when something needs to be approved by the LG, and the court has very well allowed him to sign on to those files. I understand that, sir. You were talking about Justice Bhoyan and...
One more line. It's also because the government is divided into 10 departments, 20 departments, 40 departments. Each has a minister. And Kejriwal is not the minister. So the signing is done by the governance people, namely those.
Correct. I understand that. Now you're talking about one particular judge who had reservations about this particular bail condition being imposed on Delhi's chief minister, that is Justice Bhuyan. Now, Justice Bhuyan, I mean, yes, the judgment today was unanimous, Mr. Singhvi, and you were in court, but it seems that the bench itself had a difference of opinion as far as whether the arrest was illegal or not. I'm asking you this question because you mentioned Justice Bhuyan, and at one point, Justice Bhuyan says, he says that the arrest was unjustified and untenable. Is unjustified and untenable illegal in your opinion? I'm just trying to understand this matter.
Now, this will require some detailed explanation. So let me be as pointed but as simple as possible for your viewers. There is no doubt that the biggest takeaway is that both are unanimous on bail. So that chapter goes out. Equally, both differ on the legality of the arrest. This also is very clear. Now, the nuance is important for you to understand. There is a clear argument by me, which I made, which is that apart from anything else, the facts based on 3 dates show that there was no need to arrest him. For the simple reason, the FIR is 2022, August or so. He's interrogated for 9 hours in the middle of 2023, almost a year later. And then he's arrested in March 24 after the Model Code of Conduct, 2 years or 22 months after the original FIR. Now, these 3 dates clearly show, according to one judgment, no necessity to arrest. Now, this is a factual issue. Justice Suryakant, whom I hold in the highest regard genuinely, holds in law that certain sections, which are called, I will not be technical, 41, 41A, etc., will not apply. For the simple reason that a person already in custody will not have the benefit of those sections. The magistrate will give the order and the police doesn't have to do its procedural safeguards. Leave that aside. But where I think the learned judge has erred is that while Justice Bhuyan deals with the factual aspect, that please demonstrate factually where is the necessity to arrest. The learned judge, senior judge, presiding judge, Justice Suryakant, does not deal with that factual aspect at all. He says that 41 and 41A does not apply. Let us assume it doesn't apply. Even then, the judges are entitled to say that the court order which upheld the seeking of arrest of Kejriwal, the trial court order that is bad because these dates show that there is no necessity. So that is the nuance. Justice Suryakant deals with the legal aspect, but does not deal with this factual aspect. Justice Bhuyan, of course, deals with the legal aspect, and so case 41, 41A will apply, on which the two judges differ. But he deals additionally with the factual context. And my problem is that the factual context shows that even assuming that I am the magistrate which says, okay, please go and interrogate and arrest Shreya Dhoundial, who is already in custody. Even then, the Supreme Court, can say that the magistrate was wrong because he has not taken into account these 3 or 4 dates.
Okay. Okay. As we see, pictures, live pictures come to us, Mr. Singhvi, and I'm fairly certain you're seeing them on your screens as well. This is him arriving at his residence. Can I ask you whether it gladdened your heart, and be honest, whether it gladdened your heart when the Supreme Court had some harsh words for the CBI? It seems that the Supreme Court reminded the CBI of their entire caged parrot history and said you need to do everything to, dispel the notion that you are a puppet in the hands of the government. This is, of course, these were not their exact quotes, but this is the sense.
So let me give you a candid answer. Institutionally, it never gladdens my heart. The CBI is going to be there for you, for me, for somebody else, for this, that government 20 years later. But in the facts of this case, I would wholeheartedly endorse the observation of the sentiment behind the everything in a factual context. You see, much before this judgment, I had used the phrase insurance arrest. Now, the learned judges have not used the word insurance, which I've argued, but they've used a very close analog. They've said it gives clear suspicion that it was intended to frustrate. Why was it intended to frustrate? Sorry, let me correct myself. Justice Bhuyan, not Justice Suryakant, Justice Bhuyan. Now, why is it frustrating? There is no case that I know of, Shreya, where I get 3 release orders. I meaning personally and Kejriwal meaning the same Kejriwal. 3, not 1. 3 release orders of various kinds in ED matters. ED is a much worse statute. It has got section 45, which is a very high threshold bar. I get bail there. Matter is going on for 2 years. Just before the 3rd order in ED, the CBI comes along in the end of June to do what I call an insurance arrest. Now that is where I think has quickly activated the observations of one learned judge. The other learned judge has dealt with the law but has not dealt with the issue at all. Had he dealt with this factual aspect, his sentiments would have been different, but then that is his prerogative not to deal with it.
Okay. Mr. Singhvi, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us on the top of the show, and thank you very much for clarifying the grounds of the bail that have been laid. Thank you very much indeed, because there was some misinformation that was going around as well. Thank you, Mr. Singhvi, and congratulations once again. The BJP, as you can imagine, was not very pleased with the Supreme Court's verdict. They are still insisting that the Chief Minister should resign because while Mr. Kejriwal might be free, the Delhi Chief Minister is not. Listen in to what the Aam Aadmi Party said and then what the BJP said.
आज माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को भी एक बहुत बड़ा संदेश दिया है कि तुम्हें अपनी तानाशाही बंद करनी पड़ेगी। आज माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आदेश भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मुंह पे एक कड़ा तमाचा है कि आप एजेंसियों का दुरुपयोग कर रहे हो। आपने एजेंसियों को अपना केज पैरेट बना के रखा हुआ है। ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बहुत साफ शब्दों में कहा कि सीबीआई केज पैरेट की तरह से काम कर रही है। देश के आम आदमी को ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट का साफ संदेश है, साफ भरोसा है कि आप चिंता मत करो, अगर कोई तानाशाही चलाएगा, अगर कोई एजेंसियों का दुरुपयोग करेगा तो देश का संविधान उसकी रक्षा के लिए है।
और ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा, जेल वाला सीएम अब बेल वाला सीएम हो गया है। अरविंद केजरीवाल को तुरंत चाहिए कि वो अपने पद से इस्तीफा दे दे, लेकिन बेशरम अरविंद केजरीवाल ऐसा करेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि अरविंद केजरीवाल में एक बूंद नैतिकता नहीं बची है।
मनीष सिसोदिया जी की रिहाई, उसके बाद बाकी सारे लोगों की रिहाई और अब हमारे पार्टी के मुखिया अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की रिहाई ने यह साबित कर दिया है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के झूठ का पहाड़ ध्वस्त हो चुका है। सीबीआई की अरेस्ट, ईडी की अरेस्ट, यह अपने खुद की जांच एजेंसी की अरेस्ट नहीं थी, नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार के द्वारा कराई गई अरेस्ट थी। तो तानाशाही का अंत होता है। झुकते हैं तानाशाह, झुकाने वाला चाहिए, और वो झुकाने वाला व्यक्ति है अरविंद केजरीवाल। आज फिर से एक बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने यह कहा कि सीबीआई सरकार का तोता है।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आज चाहे बेल दी हुई, लेकिन क्योंकि उन्होंने ये पाया है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी लिप्त हैं इस शराब घोटाले में, इसीलिए उनको ना तो सीएम के ऑफिस जाने के योग्य समझा गया है, ना किसी फाइल पे साइन करने के योग्य समझा गया है। यानी माननीय मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी एक बेपरवाह सरकार के एक लापरवाह मुख्यमंत्री हैं।
My guest this evening, Abhishek Sudhir, is a political analyst, speaks on behalf of the BJP. Sanjay Hegde is a senior advocate. Ravi Srivastava is a political analyst. And Neerija Chaudhary ji is joining us on the broadcast as well. She's a senior journalist. It's raining very heavily, ladies and gentlemen, so I just hope all our signals are stable this evening. Abhishek Sudhir, I'm going to start with you. What is this logic of the BJP that jail wala CM or bail wala CM ho gaya, isliye usko resign kar dena chahiye? Why should he resign? He has been elected by the people of this, by the people of the capital, of the national capital. The Supreme Court of India has given him bail. Why should he resign?
Oh, well, very good. I think now every chief minister who gets arrested and has a bail condition imposed that he cannot visit his own office, I suppose has the moral right to continue as chief minister. Look, Abhishek Manu Singh made a legal point. He said there are two ways in which Kejriwal can be removed. Fine, that's a legal point. There is a moral aspect to this. Look, Shreya, the point simply is this. The Aam Aadmi Party says this is a victory of truth, right? Satyameva Jayate. At the end of the day, this liquor policy was scrapped. Why did you scrap the liquor policy? If it was an honest, efficient, competent policy, why did you scrap the policy? You immediately scrapped the policy after the CBI began investigating and after ED began investigating. Now, you made a huge hue and cry of jail ka jawab vote se. Shreya, you covered the 2024 election. I was with you side by side for much of that election in the Mirror Now studios. We saw that the slogan of the Aam Aadmi Party was jail ka jawab vote se. Arvind Kejriwal, like engineer Rashid, got bail to campaign for the election. What happened? 7-0. 7-0 drubbing in Delhi. Right? Jail ka jawab to mil gaya aapko janta se. You got the answer. In the court of public opinion, Arvind Kejriwal stands convicted by the people of Delhi when they did not give him a single seat when he was in alliance with the Congress. So no vote cutting of the minority vote bank either. And he still could not get a single seat.
No,
Jail ka jawab mil gaya. Ki hum aapko harayenge.
In 2025,
now he's got bail.
In 2025, there's a Delhi election.
Yeah, I know
if
where
he
you're going.
wins, what does it mean? Should he be given a clean sheet?
Yes.
Because the people of Delhi have given him a clean sheet. Abhishek, where is the logic? Okay, let's just come to the CBI. Do you have anything to say about the CBI?
No, it's
because
not
I
logic.
want to quote
It's not
Justice
logic,
Bhuyan, who's...
Sure.
I
can say, I've heard the quote, I can answer.
Justice Bhuyan says... let me read it for my viewers then. He says that for 22 months, the CBI took no coercive action against the Delhi Chief Minister. But as soon as Kejriwal received bail in the ED case, the CBI became active. Now you tell me, what is the Supreme Court telling the CBI here? They have said you have an image of being a caged parrot. Please do everything to remove that caged parrot image because Caesar's wife has to be above suspicion. So there are serious questions they have raised on Abhishek Sudhir, the CBI and the way the CBI functions.
Yeah, I mean, you asked Manu Singhvi, the other Abhishek, who you had an exclusive interview with, you asked him if it gladdened his heart that, they made these observations about the CBI. Well, it shouldn't gladden his heart. It was the Congress party that he belongs to that mastered the art of caging the parrot. This phraseology was used by the Supreme Court when the Congress-led UPA government was in power by Chief Justice Lodha. It was popularized during the Congress era. Let's remember, the Congress has ruled this country far longer than the BJP. They are the masters of caging the parrot. The original sin here is committed by the Congress. So it's very rich of Mr. Manu Singhvi to come on your program and say, on an institutional level, it saddens me. Well, if it saddened you on an institutional level, the 10 years of UPA government when you misused the CBI, which led the Supreme Court to say that you had caged the parrot, where was your heart then? Was it not gladdened at that point? Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Sanjay Hegde, would you want to come in here and help me understand what is a bigger headline? Arvind Kejriwal walking out of jail after 5.5 months, or the Supreme Court of India wrapping the CBI on its caged parrot image? What do you think is a bigger headline this evening?
Let's rephrase it. The Supreme Court of India says the CBI is still a caged parrot. That is despite a government with a difference. That's despite a government which said maximum governance, minimum government, and all that. The CBI, even during the Congress era, I said the same thing, that the Central Bureau of Investigation answers to whoever is in power in the center. And so whether they cage it or not, it emphasizes central, and investigation is often selective. I think that if I was the CBI director today, irrespective of whether Mr. Kejriwal resigned or not, if we are looking at morality, maybe somebody needs to take the rap for what has happened in the Supreme Court. And of course, they can always say, we follow the great Indian maxim, hum nahi sudrenge. Then where is the governance? Where is the difference?
And Abhishek Sudhir, you were talking about morality. Chief Minister should resign on the basis of morality. And that should hold true for Manipur's Chief Minister as well, under whose watch at least 235 people have lost their lives. So, hypocrisy ki bhi seema hoti hai. If you are asking Arvind Kejriwal to resign, first ask Biren Singh to resign. Ravi Srivastava, would you want to come in here?
The Manipur Chief Minister has not been arrested of corruption.
Shreya,
he has not been arrested for corruption, Shreya.
A Manipur question to any BJP
No, I'm just trying to understand this. Ek minute, Ravi ji, I'll come to you. I don't understand what Sudhir is saying. Sudhir, what are you telling me? Here is a $10 billion or $100 billion alleged scam. No money trail has been found. And here is a state burning for over a year with at least 235 people killed under your watch. The situation is still not under control. Do we really have to tell our viewers which the bigger crime is here?
Let me answer that. Okay, very good. I'm so glad you asked this question, Shreya. Which is worse, right? The death of somebody or corruption? Please understand that all the money that was siphoned off in the liquor scam could have been used to improve the Juggi
Indian citizens.
Look at how, please Shreya, just allow me to make, Shreya, you keep interrupting me. You ask softball questions for everybody who's a non-BJP sympathizer. You don't allow me to make my point. You've made some allegations. Can I answer the question, please?
Go ahead.
Can I? Now, at the end of the day,
go ahead.
Say that corruption does not lead to death is a ridiculous argument. At the end of the day, thousands and thousands of crores that have been siphoned off by successive Congress-led governments, the corruption by the Aam Aadmi Party could have put to better use. We saw those students who died of flooding in Delhi. If they had used the money that they made from the liquor scam, instead of clear the stormwater drains, lives could have been saved. Delhi has been suffering for the last 3 months. The rain has been non-stop. You had a surplus monsoon. Delhi is drowning. Defense colony is drowning. Can you imagine the plight of the Juggi Jhopdis if Defense Colony is drowning? And where is the Chief Minister? He's been in jail, in Tihar Jail, watching television from morning to night. Right? Why shouldn't he resign? Make Atishi CM. Let Atishi sign the files. Let Atishi govern. You have a mandate for 6 more months. Let there be governance. Let there be a Chief Minister who signs files. To say that, oh, corruption does not lead to death. Corruption leads to hunger, leads to famine. Winston Churchill and Arvind Kejriwal is the same. At the end of the day, you justify denying people food. Why? Because you want to fight elections in Goa and you want to become Prime Minister of India. You want to fight? No, he's not still signing files. He's only allowed to sign files where the LG's approval is required. The man does not have a portfolio.
Of throwing softball questions at the Aam Aadmi Party, and for being its sympathizer, let me tell you, Ravi Srivastava, that the Aam Aadmi... Ek minute, let me tell you, Sudhir, and my viewers know this, that the Aam Aadmi Party is so upset with us that it refuses even to send a spokesperson to the channel. ठीक है. So I'm sure we are doing something right. If you are upset and the Aam Aadmi is upset and sometimes the Congress party is upset,
That's your
तो यानी कि हम लोग अपना काम ठीक से कर रहे हैं, अच्छे से कर रहे हैं. नहीं, so they have no, even we have been boycotted by them completely. They are fairly upset with us as well. Ravi Srivastava, जवाब दीजिए. बीजेपी का सवाल एक ही है. आज in any case there's been a lot of embarrassment for the CBI at the hands of the Supreme Court, but this is a genuine question. What is this lalach to be chief minister? Let Atishi, she's very bright, you trust her, let her become the chief minister. 6 महीने ही की तो बात है.
Talking about the moral and all that, these people, I think the CBI director has got no moral to stay in his position today. The kind of observation which has been made by the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, my friend is asking for so many questions to Aam Aadmi Party. The fact is that this was a deliberate conspiracy by the Bharatiya Janata Party to keep Arvind Kejriwal in the jail. Enough damage has been caused in the Lok Sabha election, and subsequently now also they have delayed this. Now, Honorable Supreme Court has given the bail, that is the bottom point. And learned advocate Mr. Singhvi has clarified that the bogey of saying that he cannot sign it, he cannot help the people of Delhi is all bogus. I think he has amply clarified that he can be very much as the Chief Minister of Delhi. The fact is that there are conditions of the bail were the same which are put in the ED case as well, ED case bail. And ultimately, when if they go in the appeal, I think such conditions would be waived off, because as a Chief Minister, if he cannot help his own
Mr.
people, work for his own people, what for is the Chief Minister?
Fact is he can't go to his office.
No. Yeah.
He can't.
No,
he cannot access his secretariat. He cannot go to his office. Fact also is bail मिली है, clean chit नहीं मिली है, Mr. Srivastava.
Fine. Absolutely, I am saying innocent as long as he is not proven guilty. I also made a tweet this morning. This case will come to the trial court after 4 years, and the whole judgment will come in 2047. I am telling you the fact. The way judiciary works.
No, I think I will retire by the time the judgment comes.
I'm not a soothsayer. I am a fact.
Neeraja ji will still be writing books, but I will have retired by the time the judgment comes. Neeraja ji,
I have seen Bofors.
Neeraja ji, you will be writing books.
I have seen all these things.
You know,
Neeraja ji.
Various things have been raised. The BJP spokesperson was saying this, and rightly so, that corruption can lead to deaths, huge number of deaths, no doubt about it. So, but the point is the corruption has not yet been proved. The deaths in Manipur are a reality in front of us. I reacted to your question. It's a very small point I wanted to make. But my question also is, given of course, the executive powers of Kejriwal as CM, Manu Singhvi has said some things about it. Let's see where it all pans out in the coming hours and days, what he's allowed to do or not allowed to do as the Chief Minister of Delhi. But the question that arises in my mind as a result of the court's remarks about the CBI is the court's rulings in Sisodia case about the ED and now about the CBI. Is it defanging the ED and CBI insofar as its use against political opponents is concerned? Will that happen? It's a question mark. The other thing, of course, is Kejriwal will have all the time in the world now to campaign in the Haryana elections for his party. And how that will pan out, because the alliance with the Congress has broken. Will this help the BJP? Because the Aam Aadmi Party, even if it cuts into 1,000, 2,000 votes in every constituency, is going to be a vote that was for change. And that's what widely believed. So also in Delhi, if it doesn't go in for an alliance with Congress party, and Congress, I've been going around looking at Sisodia's Padyatras and what the people are saying. And generally the fight seems to be between Aam Aadmi Party, there's sympathy for Kejriwal, why is he being kept in jail and so on. And now, of course, that may wane once he's out, and that kind of sympathy will not remain. But it's a fight between BJP and Aam Aadmi Party essentially. But the Congress is a factor still in Delhi. The Congress all over is in the process of reviving. Overall, the people want to see the revival of the Congress, irrespective of what the Congress is doing or not doing, to take on the BJP. So if there is no alliance between AAP and Congress in Delhi also, how much will that hurt Aam Aadmi Party and how much will it help the BJP? So Kejriwal on the rampage politically, building up his party in Delhi, campaigning for his party in Haryana, who is it going to help? That is a very interesting question also to look at. Who is it going to help politically?
We will probably look at it because there's an election in Haryana, in a month's time, less than a month's time. And then, of course, we have Delhi that is coming up next year, 2025. That should be interesting. Sanjay, we have exactly 20 seconds. Can you tell me for you what is it that stood out for you in the judgment today?
What stood out in the judgment is Justice Bhuiya's concurring opinion. He could have very well said, look, bail is being granted. I go along with that. But he then suddenly penned down the reasons why he thought that the CBI had been unfair. So that really stands out. It tells me that much as we despair of our institutions, there are people who are standing up and who try very hard. That gives me hope.
On that positive note, on that positive and hopeful note, I think we should end this debate. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Hegde, for joining us as always, giving us your perspective. Abhishek Sudhir, good to have you on the show as always. Ravi ji, namaskar. Thank you very much. And Nirja ji, thank you very much for talking to us about what impact this will have on the political ecosystem in this country. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.